What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor Soper. I'm with John Cook and Monica Nicholsberg of GeekWire. We're here in Las Vegas at CES at PepCom. It's an event with hundreds of companies with booths and a lot of innovative products, and we're having a lot of fun. We're at CES.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. This is the first full day that we've been here, and we've each attended a few different sessions, and now we're just checking out all the stuff on the PepCom floor.
Yeah, I've been impressed with this show. I think there are a lot of cool companies. We met with a Seattle company here, Rover.com, Portland company, FLIR Systems, doing some cool thermal technologies. Everything from cloud computing to fitness equipment. It's all over the map here, but I've had some good conversations with some of the startups here.
A lot of solid companies, and like you said, it's all over the map. There's smart beds and smart toothbrushes and dogs and cats. It's fun. It's fun to see kind of where the industry's kind of going. So, well, let's talk about what we did today. Monica, you had a fun day seeing one of your favorite celebrities.
I did. So I saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt today give the guest keynote address at AT&T's Developers Summit.
Now you should say who that is. I was giving you a hard time during the editing process.
Yeah,
but not everybody knows him.
I think more people know him than you think. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is an actor. Do you know what that is?
I do. He hasn't won an Academy Award or anything.
True,
you know, so
but
he's
he's
not like
many films,
that's
including
true.
10 Things I Hate About You, which is a classic.
Never seen it.
Inception, a little more recent. Snowden is his most recent film. He's been in a lot of stuff, and
Yes.
one thing that people don't know about him is that he also started his own company called Hit Record, which is kind of a crowdsourced, although he hates that term, but it's a production company that relies on the talent of many, many people across the web to contribute their skills and build products together. So that was part of the reason that he was delivering the keynote at AT&T today, is because he's got this, sort of technology background, but he's also a very charismatic actor.
Well, they love to bring out the celebs for that. Last year they had Kevin Spacey, who I think has a little bit bigger name recognition, but
maybe it's a generational thing.
young up-and-coming star. What stood out about his talk, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's talk? What stood out about it?
I think there was a lot of optimism in his talk, and that was interesting to me. He had a lot to say about the internet and how we're not really harnessing it to its full potential, that if we are more collaborative on the web, then we can solve some of the world's biggest problems. He made this really interesting comment about how if the model that his company Hit Record uses that relies on skills from people from all around the world, if that model was applied to something like government and we could write policy together, it might create a world that has a more a democratic sort of backing behind policy.
Taylor, you saw a celeb of your own as well.
I ran into Alexis Ohanian, Reddit co-founder, but more importantly perhaps newly engaged to Serena Williams, the tennis superstar. We caught up a little bit about, he was coming out of the Toyota press conference, and Reddit and Toyota just did a deal together, so that's why he was
now,
there.
How did that come together, that interview? Did you just proactively go up and start chatting with them?
I was sitting on the floor in the hallway of Mandalay Bay, writing a story in true CES fashion, and someone said his name, and I saw him there, and hung around and just kind of just
So you
said, "What's
you
up?"
just were lurking and tracked him down.
I was lurking. He was
Nice.
hesitant to talk, but he was really cool at the end of the day, and spent a couple of minutes talking to him. It was cool. It's cool seeing celebs and guys like him kind of walk around the show floor like that.
And you got to ask him about Serena and their love.
Serena's a geek. Official,
That's
confirmed.
what I've heard. Yep.
The biggest scoop of CES, Serena Williams is a geek. She's likes games, and we have written about her before. She's done a couple of deals with Snapchat and Gatorade, as a code.org supporter, so it's kind of fun.
So
and she actually announced their engagement on Reddit, right? So she's at least a little proficient there.
Exactly.
So Taylor, you were at the Intel keynote. They were huge last year. I think they had one of the biggest slots at CES in terms of the keynote slot. I missed it this year. I'm told there was a lot of VR and there were some barf bags.
Both are true statements.
Yes, okay.
Barf bags?
Barf bags, yes. What was going on there exactly?
Well, so I was standing in line, another big line, another CES theme, and I walking in there, going to see another keynote, and then I walked in, and there were 260 leather seats. Each seat had an Oculus Rift headset there, along with a barf bag. So it was intriguing the moment I got in there. And long story short, the whole presentation was about VR and how Intel's pushing into VR in a number of ways, but the CEO went through a number of demos. He said, okay, this demo we're going to do, put your headset on. So we went through,
That's cool.
We visited Vietnam, we jumped out of a helicopter. We actually watched a live college basketball game. So it's an impact of their acquisition of Voke. It's a VR startup, but they went to the Butler Villanova college basketball game, had cameras there, and tuned us into the live game during the keynote.
Oh, that's
so that's
pretty
taking
awesome.
the live demo to the next level.
That's cool, and it worked.
And it worked. And then there was another live demo of a camera on a drone, we were talking about this earlier, going over solar panels in the middle of the desert somewhere in Arizona or something, but to show that you can put the camera on and hover over the solar panels in case there's a problem that you can notice. So anyways, it was one of the cooler press conferences I've ever been a part of.
So it was limited to about 260 journalists then. If you didn't get one of the chairs, were you just out of luck?
You were out of luck. So luckily I got early access, and it was journalists, analysts. It was a lot of fun, but read up on GeekWire, all the pictures and everything there.
Which is really interesting because last year they were all about sports tech and fitness and health, it seemed, and it was a long, epic keynote. So it seems like they have these themes that they really try to dive into each year.
Yeah.
And interesting that they're going with VR, AR.
It is, and on one hand you say maybe they're just doing it for a marketing purpose, kind of just jumping on these trends, but Intel's an interesting company. They're kind of their mantra's been we're everywhere, and so they're kind of maybe going with that in the new tech world with VR and sports and fitness. So it's really cool. But I was actually even more convinced today that VR is really going to be that next big thing, even more so than I was before. So it was fun.
Well, it's interesting that Intel chose VR as their big theme for the press conference. I know that's been a big presence here at CES, but so has Amazon's Alexa. Do you feel like there's one that's made more of a splash this year?
Yeah, in terms of trends, that's a good question. VR has kind of been around, I guess, for a little bit, even though it's still very nascent. Alexa is even more interesting because we are from Seattle and we've covered Alexa for several years now. But Amazon historically has been very quiet at CES, but this year, while they may not have a keynote or a press conference, Alexa seems to be coming up in almost every announcement that we're seeing.
Although Mike George, who leads the Alexa group, was on stage on the LG press conference earlier today announcing a smart fridge. So they are even making a presence felt. Charlie Kindle's speaking here. He's part of the Alexa team. So you're seeing them have a much more public view than they normally do. But I agree, Taylor. I think AR, VR was maybe the trend of 2 years ago or last year. This year it's AI and voice assistants and really Alexa. I mean, the number of announcements with Alexa is just unprecedented this year.
Yeah. And another trend is, speaking of Alexa, AI kind of builds into the bigger conversation of AI and machine learning. And Nvidia had the official CES keynote this year, historically known as kind of the graphics chip company, Nvidia. They're kind of making a big splash this year because they had the official keynote, made a series of announcements. We wrote about one on GeekWire today. They've actually created a cloud platform service basically for PC gaming that if you have a kind of a crappy computer, you can't really play the best games, right? Well, you can actually pay for this new service and it'll let you have the power to play these cool games. So really interesting announcement from them. They're a company to watch for sure, especially with AI, machine learning, and they're kind of similar to Intel in many ways. They're kind of compared sometimes, but Nvidia is a company to watch here in the coming years for sure, especially as we talk about these trends like AI and machine learning. So one to watch for sure.
Yeah, what else is coming up at CES that you're worried about, concerned about?
Getting enough sleep?
Getting enough sleep?
Yeah, we're at 10:30 right now and we're still standing after a long day.
Way past my bedtime.
I would say the night's just getting started. No, tomorrow and Friday are two packed days. Tomorrow officially the show starts, even though we've been here since Tuesday and it feels like several weeks almost. But tomorrow the official show starts and the show floor opens and Monica will be on the floor reporting live on GeekWire, doing a live vlog, and I'm excited for you to check it out. That's very much, when you think of CES, I think of the show floor and all the big booths, and you can learn about all the technology. So looking forward to seeing your report.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too, and we're going to do it in a live blog form, which I think really is going to fit with the show floor. I've never seen it before, but I imagine I'm just going to be running around trying stuff and sharing my thoughts, so be sure to check that out on GeekWire tomorrow. Yeah,
and heads up for any celebrities you see on the show floor. Last year we saw several sports stars, and tomorrow we will be interviewing Shaq and Charles Barkley again for the second year in a row, so stay tuned for that on GeekWire as well. John, any worries or concerns on your end?
No, just trying to power through this CES cold that I picked up on the flight down here.
I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my best.
Well, hang in there, and
thank you.
We'll be here at the ground in Las Vegas for the next 2 days, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. For John and Monica, I'm Taylor. We'll see you tomorrow.